Yo, what is up guys? Guido here, back again with another mini bike video. And in this video is going to be how to install the Billet aluminum flywheel on your mini bike. Now right here is the Predator 212 non-Hemi Billet flywheel, but this video will practically work for any 196cc motor. They're pretty similar with changing out the flywheels. This will work for your Coleman 196s, your Predator non-Hemi, your Predator Hemi, all those other little off-brand motors. It's pretty dang similar, but this video is just going to be focused on the Predator 212 non-Hemi. Now, as you see, this is a Billet aluminum flywheel. Now, this isn't needed to do this, but while I went and bought the Billet aluminum flywheel, I thought I would buy the clear GoPowersports.com. They call it the blower cover, but the flywheel cover right here. Now, I thought I would just buy that because since it's billet aluminum and it's nice and shiny, you'll be able to see through, and also you'll be able to see through to my red spark plug wire and also my gas line and stuff. So I thought that would kind of look pretty cool. And when you buy this, it comes with like a little black, it looks like it's just like an untreated cut out piece of metal. So I decided to paint it red, so once the actual pull starter goes on there, you'll be able to see the little red on the outline. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I just went and installed it. It just pushes in place, and then once you put on your pull starter, it actually goes and screws in right there and stuff. But like I said, this isn't needed to do this swap right here to put a new flywheel in your mini bike, but I thought I would just go ahead and get it since I'm doing this job. Now, the reasons to get the Billet flywheel is, first of all, it's $100, so it's pretty affordable for a really good mini bike modification. Now, the Billet aluminum flywheel is actually a little thinner than the stock flywheel, which is less flywheel, so it makes it lighter. Also, it's billet aluminum, so it's literally nothing. It's super light. Also, compared to the stock flywheel, which I don't know what material the stock flywheel is, but all I know is the stock flywheel is very, very, very heavy compared to the billet aluminum flywheel right here. Now, also, why you would want to get a billet aluminum flywheel is, like I said, it's lighter, so your motor is going to be able to crank a little bit faster and spin a little bit faster, so you're going to get a little bit more speed out of your mini bike, and also less strain on the motor, so you're going to be able to rev it up a little bit higher. And also, I'm not for sure on this one, but I believe I'm trying not to scratch it, I believe the little striking pads are actually more performance oriented, so they are going to give a little bit hotter of a spark. And also, if you have a better spark plug coil and a better spark plug, your mini bike's going to run way better. And also, the other reason is safety. Like what I said, I don't know what the material of the stock one is, but billet aluminum is a lot stronger than the one that's in there. So when you're revving your mini bike really high, and also you have performance mods, I don't know if you guys have seen any of the videos on YouTube of the flywheels exploding. I'll put a video on top of this video real quick to show that. But the billet aluminum is much stronger than the stock material that's in there, so when you're revving it high, your flywheel isn't going to explode. So that's another reason why to install this. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to have to do to get this side cover off is you have to go and loosen the 4 bolts that are holding it on. Now, you have to use a 5/16 socket, which I have on this impact driver. So what you have to go ahead and do now is just impact, or just use a regular ratchet and just take off all 4 of those bolts. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and just take the pull starter off, because obviously I'm going to switch it onto the new side cover. But if you aren't going to get a new side cover, I mean, like I said, it's not required, you'll just leave it on there. So that's what you have to go ahead and do right now to access the flywheel behind there. Okay, so as you can see, I got the side cover off, and I also took off the pull starter. So this whole thing is completely off. As you can see, I had to modify my side cover just a little bit. So it would actually go and clear my spark plug, because I had to route it differently, because it's got a 90-degree head, because it's an MSD one. So I had to route it a little bit differently, so that's why there's a little cut slot out in mine. And then also I have my little kill switch right here. Now what you would do is you would just pry your kill switch out, and how you can do that is just get this off, tap it out of there with a little hammer, and if it still doesn't come out, then go and wedge a screwdriver, a really small like razor blade in there, twist it where you can get a screwdriver in there, and then it pops straight out. But I already have my kill switch wired up from there to the actual handlebars, so I'm not going to be needing that. See, I already have everything on here. It's easy. It just bolts in with the bolts they give you. Everything's good. I'm going to see if it clears just with me putting it on there, and also it's just plastic, so it shouldn't like really you know, cut the wire or anything. So I'm gonna see how it fits on there, and if I like it, I'll just leave it, and if I don't, then I'll just cut this out a little bit. But this isn't part of the tutorial, I'm just telling you guys. But now the next thing that you would do is a lot of people would take their coil off, and I'm not going to do this because you don't have to do that. You just undo that nut right there, and then the pull starter attachment will actually come off, and then your flywheel will just slide out. But usually it doesn't slide out because it's seized in there, just because it's a flywheel, just with the motor and everything gets hot, this and that. So you'll need to get a pry bar behind there to actually pry this thing out, so it will come out easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fit this on there, see how it fits and everything, and then I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this nut right there. Okay, so as you can see, I just finished cutting this, so it will actually clear my spark plug wire. Now this looks like it's a bunch of cracks, but it's not. It's just the dust from this, so I'm going to go ahead and wash this. But as you can see, if you go over here, I actually got the flywheel nut off. So as you can see, this is the nut right here, and this is actually the flywheel mount for the pull start. So that goes onto there. Obviously, this little nub right there goes into that little nub right there, so when you pull start it, it engages on this, and it will actually turn your motor on, and it'll spin your motor over. And as you see, this is just a little fan blade plastic shroud thing. So as you see, the new one actually kind of has the little fan blades built into it, so you don't need that. And then also, this is the stock flywheel, so this will just come and slide straight out, or you might have to get some sort of wedge in there to go and pry this out, because it will get stuck on there. And also, this is the socket that I ended up using to take off that nut right there that holds the flywheel on. Okay, so as you can see, the flywheel's off. It's pretty easy. What I recommend you doing is this nut right here. What I recommend you guys do is obviously pretend the flywheel's on here. Screw the nut on just like this, and then once it's about flat like this, on here, you want to get a little pry bar like this. Now you want to just go and stick this underneath the flywheel and use a hammer and pound this inwards, which will make a lot of vibration and also jam the flywheel slowly out until it will go and pop off. Now as you can see, I removed the coil, and that's not for like measuring or gap distance or whatever. I just did it so I can get the pry bar in there a little bit nicer. But you actually are going to have to re-gap the flywheel, because it's different than the stock one right there. So you're going to have to get a feeler gauge and measure the distance between this. But now what you actually have to go and do is you have to pop out this keyway. Now as you see, I already got the keyway out. It's right there. Now it's super easy to get this out. I actually see a lot of people struggling with this. But what I recommend is get a really small screwdriver right here, and then you just jam it right in there, and then you just get a hammer and just pound it, and then once it's kind of like out a little bit, you just jam it in there and then twist and pound, and then it just pops straight out. So now what you actually have to go and do, this is I guess probably the harder part of this ordeal. You have to get some grinding compound and actually put some grinding compound on the actual camshaft right here, and also the new billet flywheel, and you have to just turn it freely, just back and forth, so it will make a good bond to the actual crankshaft right here. Then you go and you take it off, wipe everything off so there's no grinding compound on there, which is basically liquid sandpaper. And then you pound your keyway back in, and your flywheel slide back on, and then you put your little nut and also the little pull starter cap, that's what I'll call this, the little cap, and then it just will go on there. Okay, so as you can see, the grinding material is on there. It's also on the inside of the flywheel as well, but I just went and put like a nice fat glob of grinding material on there, and then went and lapped the flywheel on there a couple times. So now what I'm gonna do is get some paper towels and make sure this is super clean also with the flywheel, and I'm gonna get a little Q-tip and get the lapping material, the grinding compound out of there as well, because you want the spotless of that stuff, because you do not want that on your flywheel. Okay, so as you can see, everything is all nice and cleaned up. I have the keyway in, and then everything is all nice and clean for the actual billet aluminum flywheel. So now what you do is you just go it on just like this, and then as you see it, it will go and fit in the little keyway. Make sure it's seated on all the way. And then as you see, it's on there, everything is good. So now what you do is you go and you get your little cap from what I said earlier, and then as you see, that little indentation goes into that little indentation right there on the actual flywheel, and then you just put your nut back on, and then everything's good for the flywheel. Now as you can see, everything is all on properly. Now you're going to go and take your socket right here, and you're gonna go and tighten that down. And as you can see, everything is all good, everything is installed. So now what I'm actually gonna go ahead and do is I'm just gonna go and clean my side cover real quick because there's a bunch of dust in it. I'm going to install it, and then I'm gonna go and start it to see if it runs.